I think maybe even Dirty Jersey Rat. Dirty Jersey. Yay! I love that song.
Spoderman did a $2 super chat. He says, explain the Grace Thorp situation. There is no Grace Thorp situation. If you want to know any kind of, relation that I have to Grace Thorp, there's none. All right. So hold on a second. Let me get your super chat up here. I'll tell you very matter-of-factly the only interaction I ever had with this person, okay? Way back early this year, it was either December or January, I don't even remember when, someone on my stream came into the chat and said, would you ever do a collab with Grace Thorp? And I said, I don't know who that is. I have no idea what you're talking about. And I think they had very briefly tried to explain to me who this person was, and that was it. And I was like, well, I don't know anything about it, right? And that was it. That was the end of it. I don't remember, right? I don't remember what I actually said because, again, I don't know who this person is. Well, this person DM'd me on X and said, hey, so I heard that someone brought me up, or you brought me up on your stream, and, I was wondering if you want to do like an interview or a collab or something. And we had a very back and forth conversation that lasted very short amount of time. I was like talking to her about what kind of content does she make? Because I had no idea. And I was telling her about the kind of content I make. And I was like, I don't know if there's any real crossover there whatsoever. I just don't think so. And basically we talked maybe twice in a very brief back and forth in the DMs. And that was the end of it. Like basically we just stopped talking to each other in January. I guess we kind of realized there's not going to be any collab because there's really no crossover. You know what I mean? It'd be one thing if maybe she was into games. Or maybe I was into the kind of stuff that she was doing, the kind of content she was doing. There was nothing. Okay? I guess she goes to like debate stuff, like debate events, and does IRL streaming constantly and stuff like that. I don't know anything about it. I guess at one point she had been involved with Keemstar, but I didn't know about that either. Okay? So, yeah. So I didn't know anything about it at all. And that's it. That's literally the end of it. There was nothing, no relation, no real interaction. We're not doing anything together. I have no idea why you're even bringing this up, because it's really no one's business. Just for the record, I talk to a ton of people behind the scenes about stuff. About, hey, what's going on with this? What's the true story about this? Hey, a possibility of a collab here or that. All the time. I've talked to probably in the last 2 years, probably like 50 different people on that very same criteria, that very same basis. Just a hello, how you doing? What kind of content do you make? You think there's a collab opportunity? That's it. So why are you bringing this up? Here's the question. Why are you bringing this up? Why would anyone even care about that? And why do you even know about it? Because I'd like to know. You're bringing it up because it's public info. How is it public info that we talked very briefly behind the scenes about a possible collab? That shouldn't have been anyone's. First of all, it shouldn't have been anyone's business. A private conversation between two people behind the scenes is no one's business because people try to make drama out of it. That's why you don't tell everyone, oh, yeah, I talked to this person today about. No, you don't do that. She said we used to have long convos. We have never had a long convo ever. That has never happened. That's a lie. She was playing. Okay, here's something that might actually be truthful. She was doing a GTA stream, so she was playing Grand Theft Auto, and she brought up your DMs and chats. That's why people are asking. There was no DMs or chats. It was, she DM'd me saying, hi, I heard you brought me up on a stream. And I was like, no, someone brought you up on my stream, but I don't even know who you are, what kind of content you make. We talked back and forth about it a few times. In fact, at that time, I had just gotten these. Like, I got these in December, but I hadn't really used them yet. And I was wondering, how viable is it to, like, stream on a cell phone because of battery issues? Like, and so I said to her, like, you do IRL streaming. Like, what kind of equipment do you use? And she explained, I bought a battery pack that I put on my phone, and it lets the phone last a lot longer. So that way you can actually do IRL streams longer than just like an hour or two, because the battery tends to die. Very basic stuff about content creation. That's it. That's what we talked about. And I think at one point she brought up something about she'd been on a Keemstar show, like Lolcow Live or something. And that was it. We just stopped talking because there was no interest. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was nothing there to do. To have her as a guest on the show, I would have not a clue what to talk about, because it seems like we're just different kinds of content completely. So there's no crossover there. So there you go. Anyway, that's that. Done. There's nothing else to talk about. There's nothing else to bring up. You want to be, dramatic and stupid and make shit up. Go on doing whatever the hell you do. I'm going to go on my merry way of my life here. Okay. Did 500 kicks. It says, why would you waste time doing content with people beneath you or no shared interest for content? Again, I want you to understand that in the last 2-3 years, I reached out, or people reached out to me. It happened both ways, and talked to a lot of people about a lot of possibilities for crossovers and/or content together. People have expressed interest in seeing me do interviews or be interviewed and do this kind of content, right? They have. And so I always entertain. I'm always, very nice and what's the word? I'm always very polite. And I'm always willing to at least have the initial conversation about a possibility of something going on, a collab or something. Okay. It almost never goes anywhere because it usually ends up in one of two situations. Situation number one, actually, there's really nothing there for us to do that would be too interesting for either party. It wouldn't really benefit both of us to do it. Or number two, well, Phil, yeah, actually, this is an awesome, interesting collab. This would work, but sadly, we don't want to get harassed by your detractors, and we don't want to end up doxxed on Kiwi farms. So because of that, we're going to decline. That's the two outcomes that usually happen whenever I seek or someone seeks to collab with me. It's one or the other side, okay? So it is what it is. It's sad because I really wish that I could do more work with other people. I wish that it could be more beneficial for both sides. There wouldn't be drama. There wouldn't be harassment. But sadly, that's just not the reality. For me, sadly, a lot of the things that every other creator gets to do, I don't get to do. And I'm still doing well. So I guess it's not a big deal, right? I guess it's just not that big of a deal because I am very successful with the stuff that I'm doing. So Jen Cook, thank you for 500 kicks. For the record, I think that's ridiculous what you said. He said, why would you waste time doing content with people beneath you or no shared interest? Beneath you is a messed up way to say that. That is. Like, you have to understand that I don't feel like anyone on planet Earth is any more or less important than anyone else. It's just sadly people act that way. But just because someone's a bigger creator or a smaller creator or whatever, it doesn't mean anything. A collab is a collab, and if it could be mutually beneficial, it doesn't matter if you're huge, you're small, you're in between, who cares, right? I mean, let's be honest, a lot of people's content would never work if they didn't have other people on it. There's a lot of these, like the Joe Rogan podcast. It's humongous, but if he didn't have all these other people on the show, it never would have been successful. So in a lot of ways, even though Joe Rogan is a great interviewer and entertainer, he owes his success to the fact that everyone else was generous to show up on his show, right? So I don't know why you would act like you're below this person. That's kind of messed up to say that.